When it comes to legendary fishing lures, few names carry as much weight as the Rapala Floating Minnow. The F-11 size, in particular, has built a reputation amongst anglers for decades, and it continues to hold its place as one of the most trusted tools in a tackle box. The lure itself has become synonymous with versatility and dependability, and many fishermen swear by it for bass, trout, walleye, and even larger predatory fish. Yet, as with any piece of gear, it comes with both strengths and limitations. To understand why the F-11 is still a must-have, but not necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution, it's worth taking a close look at its good qualities as well as the areas where it falls short. One of the most appealing aspects of the F-11 is its action in the water. Rapala designed this lure to perfectly mimic the movements of a wounded minnow, and it delivers that classic action with consistency. On a steady retrieve, it wobbles naturally, and with a few twitches of the rod tip, it darts and pauses in ways that predatory fish simply can't resist. That floating feature, where the lure rises back towards the surface when paused, adds another layer of realism and can be deadly effective when fish are lurking just below. It's the versatility in presentation, whether fast, slow, or erratic, that makes the F-11 such a valuable asset for anglers who want to adjust on the fly. Another strength lies in its size and castability. At around 11 centimeters in length, the F-11 hits a sweet spot where it's small enough to trick finicky feeders, but large enough to get attention of aggressive predators. The F-11 casts farther than its smaller siblings, which is a real advantage when you need to reach structure that's just out of range. Its design makes it surprisingly aerodynamic, and even in windy conditions, you can achieve a rather respectable distance and accuracy. For anglers who often fish open water or need to cover ground quickly, this casting ability is key reason for the F-11 upgrade, and that's why it earns a place in the lineup. The third positive is the lure's heritage and quality construction. Rapala has been perfecting this design for generations, and the attention to detail is clear. The finishes are highly realistic, with colors and scaling that reflects light just like a natural bait fish. The build quality is solid, with durable materials that can withstand repeated strikes, and the hooks are sharp enough out of the box to land fish without modification. For many, the F-11 isn't just another lure, it's a proven standard backed by decades of success on waters across the globe. That said, the F-11 is not without its drawbacks. One limitation comes from the very feature that makes it unique, its floating nature. Because it tends to rise when paused, it's most effective in shallow water or near the surface. If fish are holding deep or if the conditions call for a lure that suspends horizontally, the F-11 can feel less effective. There are times when that upward float works against you, making the presentation look unnatural to fish suspended mid-column. Another issue that some anglers encounter relates to the hardware. While the lure is generally well built, the stock hooks and split rings are not always the strongest when targeting larger, hard-fighting fish. In heavy cover or when battling a big bass or walleye, the hooks may bend or fail to penetrate as effectively as upgraded hardware. Many experienced anglers simply swap them out for stronger trebles, but it's worth noting that the out of the box purchase might require just a little bit of additional investment if you plan to target those trophy fish. Finally, price and competition play a role in the drawbacks. The Rapala Floating Minnow F-11 has a long history and an iconic name, and with that comes a slightly higher price tag than some alternatives on the market. Anglers who are budget conscious may find smaller, similar minnow style lures at a lower cost that perform adequately, even if they lack some of Rapala's refinement. In addition, for those who prefer modern suspending jerkbaits with more aggressive designs, the F-11 can feel somewhat dated in its approach, relying more on tradition than cutting edge innovation. All things considered, though, the Rapala Floating Minnow F-11 is both a classic and a reliable workhorse. Its lifelike action, castability, and trusted construction make it a smart investment for almost any tackle box, and its track record speaks for itself. At the same time, anglers should be aware of its limitations in deeper water, consider upgrading its hardware, and weigh the cost against their fishing needs. For many, the strengths far outweigh the weaknesses, and the lure continues to shine as one of the most effective and dependable options on the market. Take care, my friends.